Hi everybody, it's Mark DiFilippo from ReturnToYourBreath.com, and I think I'm in love.
Breathe with me, won't you breathe? See, we can breathe. And be when you breathe, along with now breathe. To me, won't you breathe? See, we can breathe. To be when you breathe, along with now breathe.
With myself. That may not surprise some people, particularly my sister. I'm not talking about narcissism or self-centeredness here. I'm talking about a deep awareness, respect, loyalty, compassion, and understanding for myself. I don't go around boasting about who I am or just think I'm the most amazing person on the planet. Rather, I seek to understand and to provide myself with a great deal of compassion and to love myself for who I am, warts and all. What happened? When did it become so hard for us to love ourselves? When we were kids, most of us thought we were the coolest person on the planet. We thought we were great. We didn't love boredom, but when we were alone by ourselves, man, could we have a good time. Making up all kinds of games. We loved ourselves as a playmate. We couldn't wait to show the people in our lives our newest creation, our newest arts and craft project, or newest drawing, or to share our newest story. What happened? You know, it's an epidemic. I hear it from the people around me, friends, family, certainly from the people I work with professionally, that they have a great deal of difficulty loving themselves, showing themselves compassion. What happened? Man, do we have such a great ability to love others, especially our kids. I'll ask people, do you love your child, have compassion for them, try to understand them, respect them? You say, well, of course, and that parental love is like no other. We love our siblings, our parents, other people in our lives, but do you love yourself? Well, I don't know. Or, no. What happened? We could blame society a little bit. You know, we certainly don't live in a society that is conducive to self-awareness, self-acceptance. Certainly not self-love. You know, the media and corporate America would tell us that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're definitely not thin enough, we're manly enough, we're attractive enough, we're happy enough. We're just not enough. How could you love somebody who's not enough? That would be a valid argument. But is there more? Did we learn somewhere from ourselves, probably at an early age, that we are unlovable, unworthy of praise, love, kindness? When I ask that question to the people around me, I get a lot of answers. There's people who have suffered severe emotional trauma, physical, emotional, sexual abuse at the hands of loved ones, acquaintances. Those that have been told directly, you are not good. You are not lovable. Who would love you? We hear that from friends, from ex-lovers, spouses. Who would love you? You're not this, you're not that, you're not the other thing. And we're told from these sources over and over and over again that we are not enough, we are not good enough, we are not worth it. We are not lovable. And we start to believe them. Of course we do. Of course we do. When you hear it enough, we start to believe it ourselves. But it's not true. It's a lie. If you'll agree with me on the premise that our thoughts are stories, they're imagination, some with great benefit, but some with tremendous power to hurt. You might agree with me that those negative messages, those harmful messages, are just flat out lies. Lies we've been told and lies that we tell ourselves. That we're not worth our own love, compassion, or understanding. It's a lie, it's not true. Of course we're worth it. Is your child worth it? That beautiful young one, so beautiful and loving, pure, precious, kind and gentle. Are they worth loving? Of course they are. How are you any different? We know through thousands of years of spirituality and also from modern science that we are one and the same. If you'll agree with the premise that the universe began with a huge explosion of matter that became everything that exists currently in the universe, then you would agree to me that everything that we are physically, the carbon that serves as a foundation of us as living organisms, the many other elements that go into our skin, our nails, our hair, our teeth, our organs, and so on, are made of the same stuff that came from that giant explosion of matter, and that we share those attributes and similar DNA to one another. If you'll agree that our children who are so deserving of love and compassion are made up very much of the same DNA that we are, at least half of it. We're that much more similar to our children than to other people. Then how can we be any less deserving of anything than our children? From a spiritual perspective, we know, we can feel that we have a shared consciousness, a shared energy, and that each and every one of us is the essence of God, the essence of the Great Spirit, or energy that provides for everything that there is. If you agree with the premise that the Judeo-Christian religions believe that we are made in the image of the Creator and filled with the Holy Spirit, how can we be anything less than perfect? How can we be anything less than deserving of love and compassion? How are we any less deserving than our children? So if you'll work with me on the logical and even spiritual premise that we cannot be any less deserving than anyone else, that's a good start. But how do I feel it? That's quite another thing. But I think it has to start with a belief, a faith, that we're just as deserving as anyone else. And if we can see love and compassion and understanding for others, then we must certainly be able to, or be worthy of it ourselves. Next comes the hard work of understanding those lies as lies, seeing them for what they really are, noticing them when they come up, and calling them out, calling them what they are, lies. Stories, thoughts that are not the essence of who we are, but rather creations of the mind. Understanding where they come from, why they're so strong, looking back at our history, the messages that we've received, developing that understanding of what's behind all of it, and then countering the message, the lie. You're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not worthy of love. I am good enough, I am smart enough, I am worthy of love. This isn't just a Stuart Smalley affirmation time here, but really changing our thought pattern. If thoughts are creations of the mind, then we can create new thoughts. And over time, through practice and repetition, they may become more prominent than the others. We know from neurology and the related sciences that the brain is plastic. It's called neuroplasticity. This means that the connections among neurons that send messages from one neuron to another that become thoughts, actions, habits, and so on, become stronger the more that they're used, and weaker the less that they're used. So from a very physiological perspective, countering thoughts with new thoughts can actually change the brain. It's not magic. It takes time, practice, and repetition. And that's your prescription. Pay attention. Continue your mindfulness practice. See the thoughts for what they are. Do not identify with them. Offer yourself love and compassion instead. Tell yourself how beautiful you are, how smart you are, how worthy of love and affection you are. And those messages will become stronger in the brain, and they will fire more often. You are worth it in a big way. And I love you. And I love myself, which really gives me the capacity to truly love you from a comprehensive perspective. They say that we have to love ourselves in order to be able to love others. And I think that's partially true. We can love others, but I think it's superficial. Until we tap into the true love and compassion that we can have for ourselves, we can't offer it in such a deep way to others. Stay tuned for some practices that will possibly help you to that end. I'll be offering loving kindness or metta meditations that offer us a practice for loving ourselves and extending that love beyond ourselves into the rest of the world. Stay with me. as always, I want to thank you for being here. I am so glad you made it.